We're gonna keep this video super short and sweet, but I wanted to talk about pencils. So as I film this, I am finishing my 13th year of teaching, and this was the first year that I was completely satisfied with the system that I had in place for pencils. Now, I'm not sure exactly what I did for my first year, but I know that the pencils disappeared like crazy because I am fully of the mindset of just give the kid a pencil. Like, I don't want your shoe, I don't want your phone, I don't want anything in exchange for the pencil. I just want you to have a pencil. But I do know I was running out like in the middle of the year. So actually, I do distinctly remember buying like a big box of pencils from Staples to try to make it through the rest of the year. I remember in my second year that I would take a feather and tape it with like washi tape onto the end of the pencil. And it was such a pain because students couldn't use the eraser. They had to like bend the feather down. So they would just rip the feathers off. I remember trying a system of numbering the pencils, giving each student a pencil that would match the number that I had on their calculator and at their seats. So they would have this number pencil, and that didn't work either. So I'm of the mindset of just give the kid the pencil, but also please give me my pencils back because I need to have them for my other students as well. That's all I want. And so since I'm not filming this in my classroom, I'm going to try to include as many pictures as I can that would explain what I'm talking about as I'm talking about it. But one of the most common pencil systems I've seen on social media involve a magnetic clip where you clip the pencils to your whiteboard. You have students sign their name underneath the pencil when they borrow it. And then when they return the pencil, they get to erase their name. I tried this too. I remember it was pre-pandemic and that didn't work either. In fact, the only year I remember not going through an obscene amount of pencils was 2020 to 2021 when we were primarily remote / hybrid and everything was on the computers. The previous year, when we got out in March 2020, we'd gotten pretty low. So here's why this popular system never worked for me. It's just kind of a lot on the students, the act of getting the pencil, putting the pencil back, because I would put this where students could get to it on their way into the classroom and on their way out. So it's not something that they have to go out of their way for, and it's not something that they would forget, but they would still forget. And the thing of it was, students are entering and leaving the classroom while carrying things. So they might be carrying food with them, especially in the mornings. They bring their breakfast to class on their lunch trays, or just in the middle of the day, they're carrying their books. Our students are allowed to use their book bags. They kind of do, they kind of don't. Everyone just has their own preferences, but a lot of times students are coming into the class and leaving the class with stuff in their hands. So it's really hard for them to use their hand to clip and unclip the clip and to take the pencil and put the pencil back and also write their name and erase their name. It's just a lot that's going on. Last year I tried the trend of naming your pencils, and this would involve taping, like a piece of masking tape I used, to the pencil and putting a name on it. And now that reminds me, I did do the masking tape thing before, but I think with numbers. So I would have my pencils numbered and they would go missing. But the idea is when you give the pencils a name, and the common idea is to use like old people names, students care about it a lot more. So if you say Charlie's missing, we have to find Charlie so we can leave, students seem to care more and they want to find Charlie and they'll return Charlie to you. I actually went a step further. Being a math teacher, I named them after mathematicians. So I was like, where's Pascal? Pascal's missing. And when I had a little bit of extra time, on the back of the piece of masking tape, opposite their name, I wrote what they did and what they were famous for. It was cute. It wasn't the most beautiful thing, but it was kind of cool for students to learn about Pythagoras and Euclid and why they were so famous. And students had sort of an answer to who invented math. And although it took longer, those pencils also did eventually disappear. And now replacing them was a process because now I had to pull out the masking tape again and write a name on it and come up with a name and think of a name, or Google what did this actual mathematician do, because I didn't take math history. So I'd gone through all of that. Plus, last year, I had a group of 7th graders, and I never taught just 7th grade before for a full year. So not exactly used to 7th graders. I've always been more at the high school end, and they would really go through the pencils. They also had a difficult time using a pencil sharpener. So in a previous video I shared that this pencil sharpener, it looks like a little robot. You put the pencil in the top, it takes the pencil in, sharpens it, and then pushes it back out when it's done. I needed this last year because my students would just hold the pencil in the pencil sharpener and they would just sharpen right down to nothing before our very eyes. So after all that last year, I just went out and purchased mechanical pencils because we're not going to have sharpener issues with mechanical pencils. Yes, the lead is going to run out. Yes, they have to get used to it because they break the lead a bunch. And yes, the erasers run out. But we didn't have the pencils just disappear within minutes because they were just continually sharpening them. The mechanical pencils lasted a lot longer. So this year, I stuck with the mechanical pencils. I'm going to try to put a picture here, but these pencils are the Up and Up brand from Target. These are the pencils that I had throughout the school year. I bought 3 packs of them. They have lasted. I still have pencils left. Now, here's the thing. This pack of pencils comes in 8 different colors. So I would put out 1 of each color. And this works kind of like how the silly names for the pencils work. It's not about what the name is. It's just the fact that this particular pencil is identifiable. So when your pencil named Gertrude goes missing and you're like, where's Gertrude? We need to find her. And the kids giggle and whatever. They're like, okay, let's find Gertrude. Same idea, except now I'm saying, hey, where's my red pencil? And it's easy to check when you have, you know, a rainbow of colors to look and see like which color pencil is actually missing. So then we're able to call out before leaving, where's the red pencil? Can I please have that back before you go? And then they get returned to you. So I've had way more success with just colored pencils, 1 for each color. Now, not totally perfect with it being mechanical. Like I said, the lead breaks. The lead will eventually run out. The erasers run out pretty quickly. So for the most part, I wasn't having to replace the pencils because they were getting lost. I was having to replace them because they were like running out of lead / the erasers. But honestly, that lasted way more than any of the other pencil systems I've had before. So that was a huge win in and of itself. Now, the other component of this pencil system that made it a huge win was just this little thing right here. It's basically a spring, but it's a ring with a magnet on the back. So these stick onto the whiteboard. And the students are able just to slide the pencil through into the ring. And this goes back to that idea with the clips on the board, except this is way easier to use because students can, I have like an example pencil here, they can just take and slide the pencil in and slide it out. So they can slide it out real easy on their way in with one hand and put it back on their way out again with one hand. So that's revolutionary because, like I said, the clips, it was a lot going on. So I'm not having students like sign the pencils out or anything like that. It's just I can look and see visually who has a pencil because they are, you know, like a nice rainbow color. You can find pencils that have like a colored barrel, I guess this may be called. Like you can find pencils that are colored on the outside pretty easily. And like I said, that one pack I had was so nice because it was 8 different colors. So I'd have 8 different pencils. But overall, this pencil system using these clips that I'll have linked below and just 8 different colored pencils, the best, absolute best pencil system I've ever had in my 13 years of teaching. Now, I do like this to be a resource for teachers, so if you have a pencil system that you absolutely love, please feel free to share about it in the comments below for other teachers to come and discover. I'm just sharing what has been working for me in my classroom with my students. Does not necessarily mean it's going to work for everyone, but I'm just telling you I really love this particular system. And so that is everything, and as always, thanks for watching.